to the extent of reducing the charge of wishes to talk to.
He got his gun out, he grabbed a throw pillow, he jumped on the bed, he put the throw pillow over her face after she said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then he not only shot her once, but he shot her twice. I think from the state's perspective, those are all really clear evidence that this was not provoked, and that he had time to cool off, and he made a very clear decision, and in his own words said that it was the worst decision, but that he made a decision to stop her.
Okay, thank you. The court will deny the motion. As parties know, this on Rule 29, you take the evidence in the case in most favorable to the state. You don't consider modifying evidence at that time. In terms of just because voluntariness of this confession has been assessed, neither party is arguing that for purposes of this motion, but I will note for the record that the statement clearly Mr. Ferlazzo immediately says he wishes to talk to Detective Orris after Detective Orris and I've seen it done very differently, very carefully goes over his Miranda rights with him. Frankly, the court was impressed with the time he took to do that, and Mr. Ferlazzo making it very clear, he said, "I want to talk to you, let's not beat around the bush." So from a voluntariness, I think again, I just want to put that out, that certainly there's been sufficient evidence shown from which a jury could find beyond a reasonable doubt that the confession is voluntary. Because I think I have to address that since both parties discussed the statements that Mr. Ferlazzo made to Detective Orris. And then, of course, he admits we have to prove in a first-degree murder that it was Mr. Ferlazzo who caused the death of Emily Ferlazzo. That's not disputed. He shot her twice in the head, that it was unlawful. Shooting someone twice in the head while they're lying down would be unlawful. That it was willful, that there was intent to do it. He stated he had had enough. And he shot her. And the question is premeditation and deliberation, which is the focus of a first degree versus a second degree and or manslaughter instruction. And for premeditation and deliberation, they're independent concepts, but obviously integrated. Deliberate is the ability to think and process and something, and premeditation is to have a plan beforehand. That's very simplistically said, but that's the interaction between the two. Neither can be, that deliberation and premeditation can occur over the course of months or can occur over the course of seconds, at least as the Supreme Court has thus far noted and has restated in many courts throughout the country. And so in this case, the evidence of premeditation and deliberation is Mr. Ferlazzo's own words, that he had had enough, that he felt Emily was going to ruin his life, and he didn't think it was going to stop. We don't know exactly what she was saying while she was lying in bed, but his words were that she had stopped fighting with me, was lying in bed, and when I determined enough is enough, I went to the closet, retrieved my Glock. Certainly, that can be a plan to get that can be deliberation. How am I going to do it? And he gets his Glock. Apparently, he gets a red pillow that may have been on the couch. Another red pillow was there. Goes over to her, puts the pillow over her face, and after she says something to the effect, "You've got to be fucking kidding me," he shoots her twice in the head. That is a plan that is deliberation, or at least it could be thought to be. Obviously, there are defenses to that, Ms. Jantz, but as you know, that's for a jury to decide whether either the event occurred too quickly to reduce it potentially to second degree, or there was such great provocation for a jury to think such provocation was justified to the extent of reducing the charge either from first or second degree to voluntary manslaughter. But that's a jury determination. Certainly there's significant evidence from which to find that there was premeditation and deliberation. What no one has discussed yet is the very deliberate efforts he made very soon after the death of Emily to cover up what had occurred. But it could be argued, and I won't go through all of that because I'll leave that to argument later on, but a systematic effort to cover up the death once it occurred. Again, the state and defense may have very different theories as to why that was done, what was going through his mind, but for purposes of a Rule 29 motion, there is sufficient evidence from which, again, a jury could find that those steps are further support premeditated and deliberate conduct, and certainly intent on the part of willfulness on the part of Mr. Ferlazzo, another element of first-degree murder. So for those reasons, we will deny the state's motion for a judgment of acquittal.
I understand the court's ruling and reasoning. I do object to the court's conclusion and ruling, and also note that there has been no testimony concerning a motive for any post-mortem injuries, none whatsoever. And so attributing those injuries to a state of mind is not supported by the record.
Well, he did say he was going to take the body and place it, bury it in the woods, I assume, and one could infer that it's easier to bury if they're separate parts.
My understanding is that he actually tells the police that he cut her up so it was easier to carry her.
Yeah. I mean, so
neither of those statements indicate the reason behind the dismemberment. They are, if so.
I hear your argument, and I
understand.
appreciate your effort.
Thank you.
I just think the inference can be drawn that it was done for the purpose of burying the body. And again, I won't go into other things that may support that, because I think that's really better left for argument of the parties.
And for the jury to determine.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep this fairly minimal but sufficient so as not to suggest any argument to the state, and certainly to more so to protect the defense from any argument I might introduce to the state. So with that, are we ready to proceed? Is the defense planning on having a case today?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Is the court going to ask Mr. Ferlazzo if he intends to testify?
Yeah. Mr. Ferlazzo, what choice have you made in that regard? You understand it's completely your choice, obviously done with advice of counsel. You have an absolute right not to testify if you don't want to, and the court, if requested, would instruct a jury. It could not use that against you in any way. You also have the absolute right to testify if that's your choice.
Yes, I do want to testify.
Okay. Then are we ready to bring the jury in?
Yes.
seated, everyone. All members of the jury are present. The state has rested. Does the defense wish to present a case, Ms. Jan?
Yes, thank you. We call Joseph Ferlazzo.
Okay.
Solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pleas of
Morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
Joseph Ferlazzo?
Joseph Ferlazzo.
Yes?
You're the defendant in this case, correct?
Correct.
So, Joseph, we're going to take things one subject at a time, okay?
Very good.
How are you feeling this morning?
Very nervous, very anxious, very tired. Yeah.
Okay. Reaches a point where you feel you need a break, let us know, please.
Yes.
So let's start with some easy information. Where were you born?
I was born in Pennsylvania, in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Is that where you grew up?
Yes, that is where I grew up. I was there until I think maybe 11 or 12 years
Can
old.
everybody hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, move the mic closer, please.
Can you hear me now?
Better? When did you move to Vermont?
I moved to Vermont in 2012.
Were you working as a tattoo artist at that time?
Yes, I was.
When did you meet Emily?
I met Emily in 2018.
And to be clear, we're talking about Emily Ferlazzo, who was your wife, right?
Yes.
How did you meet her?
Well, I had initially met her through her friend Lauren. I can't remember her last name. Lauren.
Lauren.
Yes.
And what were the circumstances?
The circumstances were I was teaching Lauren. She was serving a piercing apprenticeship. She was apprenticing to be a body piercer.
And you were giving her lessons on
Right.
how to do that?
That's correct. Yes, she was. She was apprenticing under me to learn how to do all body piercings.
And was Emily with her?
So when Lauren was preparing to start working with clients, she had a sort of a nervous disposition, and it made it so that she was very shaky. And she looked visually like just to see her, she looked like uncomfortable holding a needle. It was a very shaky hand, and I was like telling her how working with the shop's clientele wasn't going to happen until she was more comfortable. So I suggested to have some friends, people that she was more comfortable around, and
What do you mean?
in hopes that she would stop shaking and would be able to do a nice, steady, precise piercing.
So let me make sure I understand what you just said.
Yeah.
Were you suggesting to her that she do a piercing on somebody she knew?
Exactly, yes, a close friend or someone that she felt comfortable with. So
Okay. And who was that person?
it was Emily.
And that's how you first met her?
That's how I first met her, yes.
And did you have any kind of extended conversation with Emily at that point?
In the beginning of the piercing procedures, it was all business. Really just instructing Lauren where to mark, how to prep the skin, things to look for. Our conversation, my conversation with Emily, didn't occur until after all of the piercings had been completed, and then the mood sort of changed a bit. It was a little more relaxed, and everyone could just sort of like chop it up, just chat with each other. And we had started talking, and she was awesome. So we talked for a while, and when she left, I made a comment to Lauren. I said that I was like, that friend of yours is something special. I said I wouldn't mind making her my next ex-wife. Lauren laughed.
You didn't start dating her at that point, did you?
No. I think she was seeing somebody else, and I was seeing somebody else. But we definitely hit it off.
Okay. So how did it come about that you met Emily again?
I had moved to Maine for a little while in 2019. And when I moved back to Vermont in 2020, and I contacted Lauren
Why?
requesting, hang out and see what she was doing, see where she was at with things, how her piercing had progressed, and was curious. I had tattooed her before. I was curious if she wanted any more artwork, or if we would just like hang out, do a kickback, and spend time.
Okay, you contacted Lauren, and
Yes.
did that result in you connecting with Emily?
Well, Lauren was excited. She said, "Oh my God, I would love a new tattoo. I want one. As a matter of fact, I'm talking to my sister who wants one, and I'm talking to Emily who also wants one. So, like, we're all excited. So if you can tattoo us, like, yeah, please, like, come and tattoo us." So that's what happened.
When was that?
That was early summer, late spring. I'm not exactly sure of the month, 2020. April, May, June time period.
Okay, so that's when you reconnected with Emily,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And what happened with Emily after that in connection with you?
Well, I had done that piece of art for her, and I want to say it was maybe a week and a half, or not even 2 weeks later, that I don't know if I messaged her. She messaged me. I'm not sure on that, but what I do know is that she wanted to have more tattooing done. She's like, "Oh my God, like, I really love this tattoo, like, and now I want more." Which leads me to think that she contacted me. But yeah, so that's what happened approximately. Like I said, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, she's back getting more tattoos. I'm asking her how she's been in the last 2 weeks, how her tattoo healed. Her demeanor was different. She told me she had just broken up with her boyfriend. She dyed her hair a different color. She was extremely flirty, and I was receptive to that. I was like, "Wow, like, you really seem like pretty open today." Like, and I asked her if she wanted to go have a motorcycle ride and see a tour of some of Vermont.
And did she?
Yes, she did. Yes, we took a motorcycle ride that evening. Went through the canyon, went through some of the areas down in middle Vermont, and then I returned her. She was staying with Lauren had a boyfriend named Sam at the time, and she was staying at I think it was the place that Sam was renting. So I returned her to Sam's place.
Where were you living?
I was staying with friends. I was bouncing around. I had just come back from Maine, like I said, and I was bouncing between my friend Spencer Lemon's house, which everyone met a couple days ago. You guys met Spencer Lemons. So him and my friend Sarah, who's in the court today, I was staying with her. My friends were hospitable, and they let me couch surf a bit until I got back on my feet.
By which you mean establishing your practice as a tattoo artist so that you could support yourself, is that what you
That's
mean?
right, yes. Rent is expensive in Vermont for anyone here who rents. So I had to get my finances secure so I could, regain my independence.
So after that night, when did you see Lauren, excuse me, I keep saying Lauren, Emily next?
The next day.
How did that come about?
Well, after I dropped her off and I returned, I believe I was staying with my friend Sarah at the time, and as I said, I returned to Sarah's, and I texted Emily to let her know that I had arrived safely. She asked me why I did not kiss her, and I said, "There's always tomorrow." And then we saw each other the next day, and I believe, so she had gone over to Lauren was living with her parents, so Emily was staying with Lauren's parents, and we went, hung out, strolled around their property. They had like a hammock. We like sat in the hammock and just like watched the sun go down, just talked, smoked a little marijuana, and just relaxed and hung out.
And after that, did you continue to see Emily?
Yes, I did. Almost every day, almost every single day for the rest of, the whole rest of the summer. Technically Emily was living in New Hampshire with her parents, but she would visit Vermont, like I said, almost every single day. So she would either stay with Lauren or Sam, or she would get a hotel room, or she would stay with me if I would be staying at my friend Spencer's house. So the rest of the summer we were together.
You were together.
Yeah, it was very magnetic. Like we were stuck to each other.
Magnetic?
Magnetic.
And how would you describe your relationship besides magnetic?
Euphoric.
You were happy?
I was happy.
Why?
We just clicked. I feel like we were both just kind of traveling the same wavelength.
So she's was a good bit younger than you, right?
That is correct.
Did the age difference ever become an issue in your relationship?
If it was an issue, it was really just two onlookers, our friends, some of our friends had opinions about relationships with an age difference. But to me personally, no, I did not have an issue. We got along very well, and I just told my friends, like, it is what it is. Like, it's going good, so.
Everything was good.
Right.
And did there come a point where you and Emily decided to get married?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, that happened at the end of the summer. I want to say it was somewhere around August. There was finally enough money in the account to afford first, last, and security, and we found an apartment. Actually, she found the apartment. We were looking at several places, and then she had just, out of happenstance, just found an ad that was recently put on. She called the number. The guy was like actually there. He's like, "I'm here right now. Just come over right now." We just sort of fell into it, and we liked the place. And I said, if you lived in Vermont, we could definitely see each other a lot more. you wouldn't have to travel back and forth to New Hampshire. And she jumped at it, so we moved in together in August. The place was in Essex. And then, I want to say it was maybe a month into living there. It was like September. I don't exactly remember what I was doing, or if I had stepped out, or if I had just come back, or if I was working with someone. And then I just remember I came into the kitchen and she had this look on her face, and I was like, "What's going on with you?" And she breaks out into this huge smile, and she pulls out this ring and a card, and she hands me the ring, and I read the card, and it says, "Will you marry me? Check yes or no." And there's 2 check boxes with a yes and a no next to them. And then I look up, and she's like filming me. And I took the card, and I checked yes, and it was the cutest thing. Yeah, I said yes, and that was my first time ever being proposed to, so
So you were happy?
I was happy.
And did she seem to be happy?
Yes, she was.
And during these first few months of your relationship, what I've already asked you, you said it was euphoric and you were both happy, right?
Yes, that's right.
What's the matter? You're looking a little...
Yeah, I'm feeling very emotional right now.
What's bothering you?
I miss her.
Let me know when you're ready to start again.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
So you said that
Yes.
in September,
In September,
you and she decided to get married.
that's right.
And when did you get married?
We got married on October 10th, 2020. So what had happened is we sat down and had a conversation about what dates we thought were going to work. And after the conversation, I reached out to a friend of mine by the name of Teresa, who was an ordained minister, and when I messaged Teresa, I said, "Hey, can I call you and can we talk?" So I call her and I ask her if she'd be interested in marrying Emily and I. And she said that she would happily do it. And I told her the dates, and she's like, "Yeah, like that's a couple weeks away. Like let's go for it." So we did. We got married
Where?
in Burlington.
Well, we've seen the photo, your wedding photo.
Yes, I saw it. Was it yesterday or? Since all this happened, I haven't been able to remember her. And that was like one of the first times that I saw that picture, and
How did it make you feel?
it hit hard. But yeah,
Why did it hit you so hard?
we were so happy, and you had said something to me the other day about our lives have a trajectory, and standing on that dock.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is a non-responsive answer.
I'm going to allow it.
Thank you. You can, standing on that...
Yeah, standing on that dock and looking at where I am now, like, it just makes me very emotional.
Well, what emotions does it arouse in you?
Sadness and depression, and pain, heartache. Yeah.
Okay.
But-
So you got married in
Yes, we did.
Burlington.
Yes, we got married in Burlington.
It looked from the photo that you were down at the waterside.
We were actually, we had snuck out onto one of the floating docks, and we were in Lake Champlain. And we had a small ceremony. It was Teresa, Emily, myself, and Lauren.
That was it.
That was it.
Okay. And I think you said you had rented the apartment in Essex.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So how did things go with your relationship after you got married?
It was pretty normal stuff. From the summertime,
Stop you, because normal is different for each person.
normal is different from person to
So-
person.
What do you mean it was
So-
normal stuff?
Well, in the summertime, when we started seeing each other, both of us were working a lot less. And then as it came into fall, she had gotten a job at UVM as a CNA, and she was working more, and I took the opportunity to work more, and
And let me just stop you. Were you working at a tattoo shop at this point, or working self-employed?
I was self-employed, and
So where did you do the tattoos?
I did tattooing at the apartment in Essex. It was very large, and one of the rooms had lots of big windows, so it was a great room to set up as a studio.
Did there come a time when surveillance camera was installed in that room?
Yes. After some time of Emily observing me working with clients, she thought it would be a good idea if she were to get a ring
A ring camera?
for the studio room.
Why?
Well, to keep an eye in case anything happened, if anyone were to like pass out, or if I was to flirt with a client, or say something got stolen on a bathroom break, just reasons for having a security like a surveillance camera.
Okay, so I interrupted you. You said that you and she both started working more.
Right.
And in terms of your relationship, how did it go?
Well, so our relationship started out as a lot of relationships do, and it was more of just like a verbal contract, right? And by that I mean like what we're gonna do, what we're not gonna do. I apologize for Yeah.
interrupting. I'm specifically asking if your relationship continued as happy as it was in the beginning.
Well, I think what I'm getting at is the relationship had changed a little bit from when I met her, I was polyamorous, and then she asked me to be monogamous, and I said that I would be monogamous with a polyamorous clause. After the monogamy had run its course, then we would just switch to polyamory.
Were you monogamous for the most part during your marriage with Emily?
I was monogamous for the duration of the summer of 2020, and when we started seeing other people is when we switched over to a polyamorous relationship.
So let me ask you this. Was this polyamorous, monogamous, a source of tension between you and Emily?
Well, the source of tension was that with polyamory, you have to be very communicative. Like, you have to talk to each other. I'm going to be here with so-and-so. I'm going to be there with so-and-so, right? Like, just who I'm going to be with, where I'm going to be. Just safe practices all around. Using protection so everyone can, stay in good health.
And it sounds like this is not something Emily would have chosen, correct?
Well, I want to say that it was her idea to be monogamous because she did say to me, I don't want to share you and I don't want you to share me, which I said that's only going to last so long until you find someone that you're interested in, and then I will find someone that I'm interested in, and then we'll just have, whether it's group interactions or if it's separate interactions.
Putting aside this tension that may or may not have existed about the sexuality of your and Emily's relationship,
Right?
how did the rest of your relationship go with her?
Well, there was obvious flaws to the communication breakdown, and it started to spur arguments. I left my device open for her to see who I was talking to.
Your phone,
My phone.
yes.
And it led to, it led to violence and
Well, explain what you mean
like
by
physical abuse started coming into our relationship, where she would go through my phone and then respond by beating on me.
Do you remember the first time that may have happened?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that, please.
Well, I put my phone on the charger, and she invited me to watch a season of whatever show that she was binging, so that we would sort of both be versed in the show and we could sort of talk about it. So I said, yeah, I'll watch this show, and we'll talk about it later. So she wandered off and took my phone, gave it an examination. And when she came back from the examination, I was still sitting in a chair in front of the television, and she walked up to me and she threw my phone, and it hit me in the side of my face. And I turned to look at her, and she just started in with like a flurry of like punches, just hitting me in my head. And
Closed hand,
yeah, closed fists.
what side of your head? Both fists?
She was on my right side. Yeah, both fists. Yeah.
So first she threw your phone at you and it
Yeah.
hit you in the head.
Right here.
What did you do?
I was shocked. It was the first time that I've ever seen that side of her. So, and then the punches started coming in, so I just naturally like defend myself. I blocked the punches, and I sort of find my way out of the chair, and she wasn't stopping, so I had to physically like catch her arms, and I had to hold her arms by her sides until she sort of ran out of steam, just restraining her.
Was she saying anything to you while this was happening?
Yeah, just really, she was really angry. So, you're a fucking asshole. I don't want to. Do I have to swear? Do I have to
I want
quote?
you to say what she said.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she would say, you're a fucking asshole. I can't believe you're still fucking talking to this bitch. You told me you were gonna stop talking to her. And it was a friend of mine that I'd known for years, and I told her that I would stop being physical with this friend, and that our relationship wasn't going to dissolve because we were friends since 2014, just with respect to the monogamy that Emily had requested, I stop being physical with her.
So Emily was saying that she was angry. Was she angry?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was very angry. Yes, she was assaulting me
So she was verbally
verbally.
angry
Yes.
and physically
Yes, ma'am.
hitting you.
Yes, physically.
And did you ever hit her back?
No, ma'am.
So you took her by the arms?
Yes.
And did she calm down?
Yes. After a bit of time, she had calmed down, and when she finally stopped yelling, I opened up communication to tell her that I wasn't continuing a sexual relationship with Victoria, like I had previously said, that it was strictly friendship, only platonic, and there was no reason for her to be upset. Like, her and I were very physical. We were always together. Like,
Who are you talking about?
Emily, yeah,
You and
like
Emily were very
Emily and I had there was no issues where I wanted to, at that moment, like at that time, like I didn't want to be with anybody else.
Okay. And did you ever talk to her at this time, at this instance, about the fact that she had thrown your phone at you and hit you? Did you ever talk about that?
Oh, yeah, actually, yes. I said that, I did. I said that, it's not okay. Like, I don't hit you, so please don't hit me. Like, I grew up in a household where hitting happened, and I don't want to continue that. And her and I had talked about bringing children into our relationship, so I thought that domestic abuse definitely needed to be, like, cut out of the equation.
What did she say?
Well, she had apologized after some time for her harsh reaction, and we had gotten together and sort of made up, physically, emotionally. I think that we got to a place where it didn't happen again, for some time.
How long is some time? A week, a month?
It was probably a good month, or maybe even a month and a half.
And I forgot to ask you, approximately when did this incident happen?
I want to say it was fall of 2020.
Well, after you got married, right? No?
Could have been September, October.
Okay. So fall of 2020
Yeah,
was
fall.
the first time
Yes,
that
right.
you had seen, as you put it, this side of Emily.
Exactly.
And so I just asked you, when, if ever, did another incident occur where you saw this side of her?
Right. Yes, there was more incidents from that point moving forward. And I want to say it was, if we were in September, October, November, yeah, I want to say probably maybe late October, early November, if I'm thinking on the calendar. Hard to say exactly, but there was another instance where I recall I was sitting on the bed in our bedroom, and I was sending a text message. Actually, I think it was an Instagram message. But I was messaging a client that I was interested in more than a professional relationship with, and Emily came in and she saw I was sending like a GIF or a GIF, however, and people say it differently, but yeah, like a short video clip. And when Emily came into the room, she had her laptop computer, and she saw what I was doing, and she assaulted me with her laptop.
What does that mean, she assaulted you?
She jumped on the bed and struck me in the head. Like, she hit me She had the laptop and she hit me with it
Where?
in my head,
What part of your head?
like the back of my head on the right side, I guess.
Did she say anything?
Yeah, she said things like, "You're a piece of shit," and you, something about pathetic. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of other verbiage, but
Did she do anything else physical other than hit you in the back of the head with her laptop?
she tried to. I like scurried off the side of the bed, and
What did she try to do?
she like came running after me. Like she came like scurrying across the bed, and I just sort of like ran around the perimeter of the bed to stay away from her. You know, I was saying, you know, things like calm down, like let's just talk it out, like.
When she hit you in the head with her laptop, did it hurt?
Yes, it hurt.
Was there any blood?
No, there was no bleeding.
Did it leave like a lump in your head?
Yeah, there was like a lump, like a goose egg.
Did you seek medical attention?
No, I didn't seek any medical attention.
Okay. And how did that incident end? Did she finally calm down for a
Yes,
second?
she did. She calmed down, and she asked me, you know, why I was talking to this. Well, she used, you know, she said bitch, but I told her that, you know, I had interest, and you know, if she wanted to talk about it further, you know, the door was open for communication, and she actually didn't want to talk about it further. She just wanted to get some food. She wanted to go to like McDonald's and get some food and watch some Netflix.
So it just ended.
Yeah.
Did there come a time when another incident occurred where she became physical with you?
Yes.
How long after the incident you just talked about did the next one occur?
That was probably. There was an incident. Probably the next month, and somewhere in December, I guess it would be at this point. But yeah, like the next month, there was an incident where I was tattooing a woman, and Emily was listening and watching on the Ring camera. And when the client left, she came in, and so I tattoo people on like a fold-out.
What does that mean?
Essentially, it's a massage table, but it's like a large padded fold-out table that a person will lie on to get tattoos and whatnot. Emily had come into the room and like flipped the table onto its side, like threw it on the floor. I had a workstation set up with a bunch of tattoo pigment. Essentially, people will call it ink, but it's you know, different colored tattoo pigments. She like knocks everything onto the ground and comes over and starts slapping me.
Open palm?
Yeah, she had an open palm. She slapped my face, and well, see what had happened is I had unplugged the Ring camera. I was done being watched and scrutinized for my conversation with my friends. So I unplugged the camera, and Emily did not like it, and she came in and assaulted me.
Well, you've described her hitting you with on your face
Yes,
with an open palm.
that's right.
Did
Yep.
she hit you in any other way?
I think there was like some, you know, she like pounded on me with like a closed fist, like on my chest.
Let me stop you for a second.
Yeah.
You are much bigger than Emily, aren't you?
I'm 6 foot, probably about 200 pounds.
And she was much smaller than you, wasn't
She's
she?
5'3", about 130 pounds.
So I've asked you a couple of times if what she did to you hurt you. Explain to us how a woman who's that much smaller than you can actually inflict pain.
Well, I think my nervous system is working pretty well because if someone hits me, I feel it and I have a pain response. She hit hard. She wasn't. She wasn't a gentle person. I wouldn't describe her as gentle.
Okay.
So she came in and she said, "I can't believe that you're fucking this bitch," and threw everything in the tattoo room around. And she told me she was going to have my license revoked and ruin my business and tell all her friends to not get tattooed by me.
And how did this incident end?
I told her the same thing as I told her before, like, you got to stop hitting me. There's another way to work through this. And at this point, it had been multiple times, and that's when I suggested us getting a couples therapist. So,
And you did.
yeah, we got a couples therapist. Her name was Dr. Webster, and I was trying to find a way to not stumble across the landmines, so to speak.
What does that mean, stumble across?
Emily had triggers, and I didn't want to trigger her to make her respond with violence. So I thought working with a therapist would be a good way that I would be able to understand her more. Like I said, we were talking a lot about introducing a child, and I thought if you're going to hit me, you're going to hit the child. I'd seen her kick my dog on occasion, and I was like, I was in love with her, and I wanted to move forward with our relationship and have a baby, and I was scared for the baby. So the therapist was the natural choice. Give us the tools that we need to have a healthy, safe space.
So after you and Emily started seeing a therapist, did she or did she not continue to hit you?
She did. We set up Zoom sessions with Dr. Webster.
This was during COVID?
Yes, this was during COVID. And then also there was, excuse me, Dr. Webster was located in Vermont and then moved to Massachusetts, so also the distance that we just continued to have Zoom sessions instead of going to seek her out in an office setting.
But you said notwithstanding your and Emily having couples counseling, she continued to hit you.
That's correct,
Do
yes.
you remember the next time that she hit you?
There was an incident that I do remember her assaulting me with a wine bottle. And that time was very strange to me because she didn't say anything. There was no swearing, there was no nothing. Like, it was odd. I got a glass of wine.
Let me stop you.
Yes.
Is this the New Year's Eve incident?
I believe so.
And this is what you remember hearing Emily's mother talk about?
Yes, I heard Adrienne talking about that the other day.
Her from
Yeah,
locking herself in her room.
I do remember her locking herself in our bedroom.
So this incident you are now going to tell us about started with you getting a glass of wine.
Yes, I got a glass of wine. I was in the living room. I was sending a message to someone, I don't remember who, and Emily had walked past me, looked at what I was doing, retrieved the wine bottle,
Was it empty, full?
It was like half full.
Okay. Was a cork in it?
Yes, yes. Yeah, she brought it back. I'm sitting on the couch. I believe I'm just scheduling, and she assaults me. She starts hitting me with the wine bottle
Where?
in my head and arms, and
Where on your head?
in the back of my head.
So I'm going to ask you obvious questions, but did that hurt?
Yeah, it's a wine bottle to your head. It hurts. Yes.
And then you said she hit you on other places on your body with the wine bottle?
Yes. Yes. On my arms, I put my arms up to not get any more blows to the head, and I saw an opportunity, so I wrestled the bottle away from her, and I took it and I held it away from her, and I pushed her away, and I said, "Stop hitting me," and she ran into the bedroom and like slammed the door and locked it, and she didn't say anything. So I go and I try to go in the bedroom to get an explanation, and she's just in there, and I'm yelling like, "Are you gonna explain yourself? Like, what just happened?"
Did she answer you?
No, I just heard her. I guess she was on the phone.
Okay. How did that incident end?
It just ended with her like coming out and being like, "I want a Coke. Will you take me to get a Coke?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Are we gonna talk about that at all?" Or she's like, just gives me sort of like a blank look with like a flat sort of smirk, and just goes and like grabs her coat.
Were there ever any were there ever any instances where there was a mark left on your face or your body by something Emily may have done?
Yeah, she's given me black eyes, scratches.
What? Tell me about the black eye.
I was trying to communicate with her about how I felt like she wasn't being.
First of all, let me interrupt you.
Yes.
You have approximately when did this happen?
I remember one instance when I believe it was August of 2021. We had gone to an inn, and I had asked her about, I thought, I need a second to recount. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So I thought that she wasn't being responsible with. So our arrangement, our polyamorous arrangement, sort of requires that we stay safe. I understand that, you know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's nice to have that spontaneity. But if you're hooking up with other people and you're getting STIs, then that means that I can't have sexual relations until you have antibiotics and they run their course, which is like a week or two. So I thought that she was being irresponsible with her arrangements. So when I had told her about it, she like walked up to me and started punching me in my face. And
Closed fist?
a closed fist, yeah, yep. I think it was my right eye. Yeah, she blackened my right eye. She beat me about the head and neck. I remember, like, I wear earrings, and I remember my earrings just getting popped out. I was wearing a shirt and a necklace. ripped my shirt right down the middle, broke my necklace, my pendant went flying, started kicking at me. It was just a barrage. Like the punches and kicks just kept coming and just didn't stop. And
What did you
she starts screaming at me like, you don't trust me. Like, I told you that it wasn't like that. Like, why don't you believe me?
What did you do after she started hitting you and gave you a black eye?
I had to grab her by the arms. And I remember this incident. She felt, I don't know exactly how to describe it. It felt like she started doing steroids, like, or something. Like, she had so much strength that I had to hold her so tightly that I almost thought that I couldn't even hold her. Like, she was like sweating and flailing and cursing, and it was an event. It was a crazy event. But I had to like hold her down, and I had to like lay on top of her and like hold her down bodily and wait. It was minutes for her to run out of steam.
Did you hit her back?
No, I just held her down and waited for her to cool off.
And when she cooled off, what, if any, conversation did you and she have?
Well, I told her that somewhere in the fray, like one of the lamps got broken. The table was knocked over. I think there might have been some like damage to the table, and you know, I definitely suggested that we make another session with Dr. Webster immediately, and yeah, I want to say she just gave me a bit of silent treatment, and then when she finally did start talking to me, it was things like, why don't you believe like what I say, like, and I just want you to believe what I say. So I told her that I was concerned for my own physical health, because she would tell me, graphic details about how she felt after intercourse with said individual, and I told her, I said, I don't want to get whatever he has. Like, if I can help it, like, I don't want to do a course of antibiotics. I'm okay with just taking some time away and just take a break.
Okay. In the interview that we've all seen, you told Detective Boris and Richardson that on average, she would hit you every 2 to 3 weeks. Do you remember saying that?
I do. In December of 2020, we had started a project, a tiny home project. We were following on social media a number of couples that were doing bus builds. So that's where you take like a small shuttle, well, actually any size of shuttle bus, or any size bus actually at all. But we chose a shuttle bus. We were looking at vans, initially large vans, but a shuttle bus is just larger. As I said, we're following these couples, and they're traveling around and living out of their tiny homes that they built together. And like it just clicked. It was amazing. Like, we were both like saw it and we're like, oh my God, we have to do this. Like, said it like at the exact same time. And yeah, it was cool. So we started with a shuttle bus. We went and found one. I purchased it, and brought it back to our apartment, and we started drawing up a floor plan and started building a tiny home bus life project. We also started a social media page. We called the bus Roaming Rosie. So that was the that was the name of the page, and like I think I don't know if I had said this, but we had started following and talking with some of the other bus life people, and just trying to get as much information on it before we really set off into the exacts of how we wanted our bus to be laid out. And so when we start the build, I want to say that the bus is approximately 8 feet wide and 16 feet long for the living space. That's a very close, a very close situation when having to work 2 people into a small space. And there was a lot of times during the build where frustrations would be high, and there was violence within the bus during the build. There was all right. So like there was multiple times, but for example, I was working on laying down the floor, and to make a bit of space, I would work on one end, and I would try to have her work on the other end, so we wouldn't bump into each other. She was applying tiles to the shower and the kitchen area, and she was using like a Gorilla Glue in a caulk gun. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but a caulk gun is about, I don't know, 14 inches. It's like a metal. It pushes the caulk out of the tube. Well, actually, it was like a glue. It was like a Gorilla Glue that she was putting on the tiles and sticking them on. And I came and made a suggestion as to how to lay it out so she would have less overhang and have to do less cuts. And I don't know, she was frustrated and started cursing at me that, like, why didn't you fucking say something earlier? Like, you're such a piece of shit for just making me do this. And I told her, I said, you wanted to do it. And, she just said, fuck you, and started hitting me with the caulk gun.
Where? Where did she hit you with the caulk gun?
Well, I saw it coming, so I put my arm up, and she hit me in my forearm, like this, like the side of the hand and the outer forearm.
Once?
No. This was probably 3 or 4 strikes.
And what did you do?
She grabbed the caulk gun, and I told her to go in the house and watch some Netflix or something. Told her it's not okay to hit.
Is that what she did?
Yes, she went inside and she, I believe she was watching Netflix. I didn't go in after her. Yeah, we were just taking a break to, kind of let her just get her, cool down from her frustration.
So there were periods of time. So you got married in October of 2020.
October of 2020.
And over the year that you were married, you've described to us multiple incidents where Emily physically attacked you, right?
Right.
You haven't told us all about all of them, have you?
They all just sort of blend together. But, yeah, it's almost always the same. Either she'll have a disagreement about who I'm going to spend my time with, or if I'm spending too much time in the bus and not enough, like not giving her enough attention, but it always just ends the same with her running up and punching me, trying to punch me in the face, punching me in my body and in my arms, my chest, and mostly a lot